Hello there my lovely frugal friends. I have made another what's for tea video. I hope you enjoy these kinds of videos. I really enjoy making them. It's really engaging me and forcing me to become a bit more, not adventurous in my cooking, but I'm definitely learning and exploring lots of new recipes and learning a bit more about what things I can substitute and swap out if I don't have those particular ingredients in a recipe. Let me know in the comments below what's your favourite switch out ingredient that you end up using. Currently mine is mushroom ketchup. It's not, if you've not seen it before, it's not a thick ketchup like tomato ketchup, it's more of a liquid. It's easily available in the supermarkets. I got mine from Tesco's, I think it was about £1.90 a bottle. And it is just a really good flavour booster. I've used it in a couple of these recipes that I have videoed for you. So have a look and let me know what you think. Okay, I've got a vague idea of what I want to make. I have seen things about cauliflower steaks. I have a big massive cauliflower that I have had from an oleo for ages. It's just been chilling out literally in the fridge and it's still absolutely fine. And I've done the cauliflower cheese, I've done a cauliflower curry with the other cauliflower and I want to try something different. So like I say, cauliflower steak. So we're going to give it a go, see what we can do. We're going to have it with some quinoa because I've got some quinoa in. And it's a bit different from having rice or anything like that. So this is 80 grams of quinoa, which is 40 grams per person. It's my little handy tip. So I've got my quinoa here, came in a plastic bag, but I cut off the instructions and I just keep the instructions inside there so I know exactly what to do. And it says 40 grams per serving, medium-sized pan and 200 mils of boiling water per serving. So I need 400 mils of boiling water and it will take 15 to 18 minutes roughly. So that's that. So I'm going to add some boiling water to that shortly, but this has been rinsed. You rinsed it first. The other thing I'm going to add to this is I'm going to sweat off some onions and the last remnants of this pepper just to add a little bit of extra flavour to that. The butter is to go with the cauliflower. I'm going to use, to add some flavour to this cauliflower, some of my nutritional yeast. And I feel as though soy sauce is going to feature somewhere. But let's give it a go and see what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cook these off. So dice them up and cook them off. And then I'm going to cut out my cauliflower steaks. So I've cooked off my veggies, I've just put those to the side. I might put some sweet corn in there later on, I'm not sure yet. We're still thinking about it. So I'm going to cut my steaks. So what I'm going to do is, the way I'm thinking of doing it is I'm going to go and give myself an indicator line on where the middle is. And then cut my steaks either side so I know I'm getting central of the cut of the cauliflower. So I'm going for just about 2 centimetres thick. So straight down and then go for the middle one and then 2 centimetres to the other side as well. Let's see, fingers crossed these are going to hold themselves together. Oh, there we go. 2 cauliflower steaks. Okay, I'm just going to trim off some of the base on them. I don't want too much of that thick base and I don't want any of the green. So I'm just going to look where it is, trim it off without messing with the actual florets. There we go, that's one. I've got some oil in my pan, which is now starting to get a little bit brown, but it's the same pan that I used for the veggies, so I'm not too worried. It's the remnants of the onion that's browning, so if you see that, that'll be why. So over to here. This is my pan, like I say. It's got a little bit of oil in there. I'm going to put a little bit extra in. And we are going to go in with our steaks. Haha. Okay, this one is a little bit more dense than this one, but so be it. Might just have to, if you can hear me over the hitting and the spitting, which I'm going to turn down slightly, I am going to just keep an eye on them and just lift them up so I can see where I am up to. Okay, main thing is now I'm going to put in some boiling water. With these, like I say, 200ml sweet 40 grams, so 400ml of boiling water. I hope you can still hear me because this is hissing and spitting a lot, but that's okay. And I'm going to crack on with the next stage. What I'm adding next is a load of my vegan butter. So you just use normal butter if that is what your choice is. I'm going to throw some cubes of that in there, and I'm going to put in some rosemary. Let's get that in there because we want it to be, if you're going to have a steak, it might as well be steaky-fied. So we're going to go in with that. I'm going to throw in some rosemary. Now, if you've ever seen the YouTuber Sauce Stash, he does some great vegan recipes, and he recommended putting some nutritional yeast on that to get that kind of savoury flavour. So just on the one side, I'm going to give that a go. So that's where I got that idea from. But then he uses something called black vinegar, which I have not got at all. So I'm thinking something slightly acidic. So I have got acidic things, but I'm going to go in with soy sauce. Not quite yet, just going to give it a bit more chance to bubble and start foaming. And then I'm going to go in with the soy sauce. I have to say, this smells amazing. But then again, when you mix butter with rosemary, it's always going to smell amazing. So this has been going for a little while now. You can see how everything's gone nice and toasty and brown. So I'm going to flip this. I have had a quick look to see what it looks like, and it looks brilliant. So let's go for this. That looks really, really nice. I've turned it down very slightly just so you could hear me, and also I just had to have a quick phone call because my sewing machine's broken. So I'm just having a chat with somebody who can hopefully repair it. So let me turn this back up again. Now, I said I was going to go in with soy sauce, but when I got to the fridge, I spotted mushroom ketchup. I figure this is the savoury umami-ness that I'm looking for. Mushrooms are umami and bodified, if that is even a word. I don't know. So I've got some of that. And then I've got a little balsamic, which I figure might give that slight acidicness. So I'm going to go in with those. A little bit in there of the balsamic. And I think, to be honest, I'm going in with all of this. So I'd probably say that was just over a teaspoon of balsamic and probably a good couple of tablespoons of the mushroom vinegar. Mushroom ketchup, of which I'm going to get some more to get this in Tesco's. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop the lid on. See how it goes. I might throw in a little bit of water just to, you know, it's more tender than I thought. Let me show you with a knife. That side's really quite tender already, so let's see how we go. I think I'm going to turn it down ever so slightly though. Quinoa is well on its way, if you can see there, doing its thing. So we shall come back and see where we're up to. I've plated up the quinoa. I did end up adding some sweet corn to it, just very, very near the end, so it's just warmed through. These look amazing. So I am going to plate these up now. Super, super, super soft. Just going to pop it on top of the quinoa, and then going to pour the last of the sauce on top. So let's move you over here. Let's show you this one. So remember, this sauce is vegan butter, mushroom ketchup, a little bit of balsamic, and the stem of some rosemary. So we are just going to pour that as our sauce on top. There we go. Let's have a taste of this. It smells amazing, I have to say. Super, look at that, literally super tender, barely touching it. Oh, that's beautiful. That is amazing. Yeah, why would you not? I mean, yeah, it's not. I've eaten meat. I know it's not a steak. It is what it is. But it's still super, super tasty. Please try this if you have some cauliflower. Okay, to start with, the noise you can hear in the background, if you can hear it, is the washing machine. It's nearly finished, so it shouldn't disturb us too much because I will be doing the chopping while it's doing the spinning. So what I've got here is I have cut these ends of broccoli that I am going to use up. I have these bits that we didn't use from the cauliflower steak. I have some of my pumpkin that I have had in the freezer. So this is defrosted now. This is going to become part of the sauce that I'm going to make because I'm going to make mac and cheesy cauliflowery broccoli thing. Mac and greens. Except it's not all green. Some of it's white and some of it's orange. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to cook my collie, cook my broccoli. I'm going to cut the broccoli into small pieces so they're just like little bite-sized nubs of broccoli. I'm going to break down the cauliflower into some florets. Some of this is going to be used to go with the pumpkin because that is going to make our sauce. So I'm going to start chopping as the washing machine starts spinning. I've just salted this water, so I'm going to go in with my broccoli so you can see how small I diced that. So that's going to go in first because I want it to mostly sink to the bottom. Obviously if a few broccoli pieces get in with my cauliflower when I'm making my sauce, it's fine. Collie is going in too. So I want to cook this till it is nice and tender. Am I overfilling the pan? Possibly. It will be fine. I will just ladle a spoonful out. In fact, I will get my container that I'm going to put my pumpkin in. So this is going to have my pumpkin. So that's going in there. And I will use a ladle to ladle some water out because that can help to thin the sauce down. See, utilisation. Don't waste anything. There we go. Whoop. A little bit too much of the broccoli. There we go. That will help. I will pop the lid on that. And like I say, cook it till it's tender. And then when I have done all this, I'm going to use this water. Hopefully it should be still okay to cook my pasta in because I'm not going to waste any. Right, the cauliflower is done. I'll show you so we can cut through a piece nice and easy. I've tested the broccoli and yeah, soft but still a tiny little bit of a bite, which is really, really nice. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to take some of these biggish pieces. If you get a bit of broccoli in there, it's fine. Biggish pieces of the collie, put them in with our pumpkin and that little bit of water that we took off because this is going to create our sauce. So we want the nice big pieces from there, preferably the ones that have got most of the root on them, so like that one. And I want to make sure I put plenty in there because I want plenty of sauce. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a nice big rooty piece. Where's it gone? There it is. This is mostly due to my laziness as to why you end up fishing around trying to find what you need, because I don't want to wash up more pots. So on the one hand, it's quicker, but on the other hand, you are fishing around for a bit. Right, the rest of that, I am literally just going to take out like that, and we are going to go into a baking dish. I brought the cauliflower water back up to a boil. I added a little bit of extra water in there for the pasta, and I'm just going to go in with my pasta. Now I can't see how much pasta I'm putting in, but I will always end up putting too much pasta in because I'd rather cook more than not enough and save it for leftovers. So it's probably a good, 250 grams of pasta in there, which for two of us is more than enough, but like I say, leftovers. Right, next thing, we are going to scooch over here because I'm going to add some stuff to this. I'm going to go in with a little bit of pepper. So this is just white pepper, just a little bit because Chris likes a little bit of a kick in there. And then I'm going to go in with loads of nutritional yeast. If you want to, just go in with cheese. Whatever cheese is your favourite cheese, use that cheese. We are going in with the nutritional yeast because we are lower dairy because of Chris's lactose intolerance. And that's what we're going to use. So all I'm going to do is whiz that in the blender and then get ready to put our pasta and our veggies together. OMG, I literally could just trough this. Oh, that's so nice. You've got cheesiness, pepperiness, pumpkin. That is going to be fabulous. So I'm just going to wait for my pasta to boil and cook before I add all that stuff together. Pasta's done. I've drained it. I've decided to do it in a bowl instead to mix it all together because I think as though I'll be able to get in there and mix it a little bit better. So all the veggies are in there. Pasta's going in. Just move that to the side. Then we're going to go in with all our sauce. I did save some pasta water in case we needed it. You might be able to hear the washing machine going again. I've got another wash in. All Tinks. Tink the dog's little tops that we have her wear because she has skin issues have all gone in there to be cleaned. So that's what you can hear. So don't waste any. Get in there with your spatula. In fact, what I might do is put a little bit of pasta water in there and give it a bit of a swish around. There we go, that's got most of it. And let's give this a mix. That has coated that brilliantly. We are all sorted. Now I've got Smarty Cat making noises in the background. You know, it's so hard to do videoing in this house. Hello! Sorry. If you watch my channel normally, you know the animals are often around. This is just my normal house. This is, you know, I'm not a YouTuber in a YouTube studio doing things. This is just me in my house doing what I do. So into the tray we go. Told you there'd be plenty. And all as I am going to do is just before I put this in the oven is I'm going to put a sprinkling of vegan cheese on top. You use your favourite cheese. A cheddar would be amazing. If you want that stretch, pop in some mozzarella. Parmesan possibly at a push, might be a little bit too salty. But you choose your favourite cheese, see what you like. We're just going to go in with a sprinkle, then it's going to go and bake in the oven. I'm going to use my top oven because I've not got anything else that's going in, so I will use the small oven to save a little bit of energy. We are out of the oven. It took about, if it went in a bit colder, it's going to take longer, so it took about 35 minutes because mine was a bit cooler when I went in because I was waiting for Chris to come home from work. But if you go straight in from hot, it's literally just a case of getting your cheese melty. My cheese is obviously not as melty as traditional cheese because this is vegan cheese. But if you use like a cheddar or something like that, you'll get a definite meltingness. So we are going to plate this up. like I said, there is plenty here for leftovers, which is the main thing that I wanted. There we go. Let's move back to there. Zoom in a little bit. There you go. And let's do a taste. Now, if you wanted to, you could add more pepper onto this. You could add some mustard would be great as well in the mix. I was thinking other things you could add to it if you wanted to enhance the flavour. I'm going to try this. Got to get a crispy bit of cheese for me. That is super, super tasty. Right, let's go for a bit of cauli, a bit of broccoli, a bit of pasta. Try it all together. So I've got all the flavours. Fabulous. So I'm thinking about how much this cost. Now, I got my cauliflower for free. I got my broccoli for free off Olio. I got my pasta from Rogers Wholesale. I got my pumpkin from my friend Rachel. My pasta from Rogers Wholesale, I think, was maybe 40p a pack. And I used half of it, so that's at 20p. Nutritional yeast, probably another 20, 30p worth there. So for me, the whole thing cost about 50, no, cheese on top, maybe £1.50 for the whole thing. I'm not going to complain about that, and it is yummy. What I'm doing for this recipe is like a onion soup pasta. So it's a lot of the elements that would go into sort of like a French onion style soup, but in a pasta. It's a bit different. It's something I've been reading about, and I've not got all the ingredients of the recipe that I looked up because it recommends putting in red wine vinegar and agave, but I don't have either of those. So I'm kind of doing my own little rendition. So all I've done here is I have sliced up some onions finely. And then I just put a little bit of oil in the pan, and I just started to saute them off. Then I added a little bit of water to get them going. This is a mixture of red onion and white onion. What I'm going to add in now is some garlic. So there are about 3 cloves of garlic there, because why add 1 when you can add 3? I'm just going to cook that off for a little minute to get that concentrated. We're going to take these onions still even further than what they are at the moment, but what I'm going to do is, instead of the agave and the red onion vinegar, I have got my trusty mushroom ketchup. This is going to give us the umami flavour that I want in my onion soup, because a French onion soup would traditionally use that. I'm pretty sure it would use like a beef stock. So, and that's not what I'm going to do, and what I would use anyway. So a little bit of sweetness, I'm just going to put in a tiny bit of brown sugar for that sweetness. And then I am going to put in some of this mushroom ketchup, which I only bought this week, so I am attacking the lid as we speak because I ran out. So we're going to go in with a good 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say 3 teaspoons. So that's 1 tablespoon of that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to cook these down on low for another 15-20 minutes. Come back and stir every few minutes or so, because I don't want them to catch on the bottom. That's the main issue you've got to be careful of, is them catching on the bottom. Quick other thing I forgot to put in. Some thyme. This is some thyme from our garden, so I'm just going to, which I've dried, I'm just going to pop that in. So there's a few bits of thyme going in there. There we go. So if that was dried thyme in a thing, I'd probably say about a teaspoon, just shy of a teaspoon of thyme. Okay, give that a mix. I've just swapped my pans around because this one's my high heat, so I've got my pasta cooking, and over here we have got the onions, which have gone right down. There's barely any liquid left in those. But what we're going to do now is we are going to add coconut milk. So this has been frozen, so it will look a bit lumpy. It's partially defrosted, but it will just get mixed back in. So this is going to be the creamy element. And then once I've mixed that in, to create more of a sauciness, because you traditionally get cheese on top of a French onion soup, I'm going to go in cheesy with some nutritional yeast. You could also go in with some cheese if you choose. Cheese if you choose. Cheese if you choose to. I am probably going to put some grated vegan cheese on top, but I'm going to give this a little taste. Well, it's lovely and creamy. That's really, really tasty. So I just need to get this heated up, throw my pasta in. Might keep a little bit of pasta water aside in case we need it. But that's ready to go. I will show you it once it's in a bowl. There we go. French onion soup pasta. Lovely sauce. It does have serious French onion soup vibes. Really, really tasty. Try it and see what you think. So, what did you think of those recipes? 3 new recipes that I have not tried before. The cauliflower steak came out amazing. I was so impressed with that. That is going to be on our plan anytime we get hold of some oleo cauliflowers, because that was just super delicious. I think next time I might make it even more steaky-fied and have it, you know, maybe with a Diane sauce and some kind of potatoes on the side. I know Diane sauce, that's so old school, isn't it? Yes, I'm a child of the 70s. It is not my fault. The pasta dish with the pumpkin. Now, I have used a cauliflower to make a sauce before, but I just hadn't used the pumpkin squash in there before. But that worked really, really well. I think any kind of vegetable that can be blended up nice and smooth like that is a really good substitute for a creamy, cheesy sauce. So that worked really well. And lastly, the onion soup. I love French onion soup. It's one of my favourites. But unfortunately, as I said during the recipe, beef broth is used in that, or beef stock is often used in that in restaurants. So it's not something I can have anymore. But I have found a good substitute. I'm thinking if I was going to make it again, I would possibly do some like little croutons, you know, like French stick size croutons, and put some cheese on top and just grill that for a little bit and pop that on top. Maybe make it a bit more garlic bread with the cheese on top and pop that on top, so it'd give it that more French onion soup vibe. What do you think? Would that work? Let me know. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate all your comments, and I apologise to people who can hear the cat in the background and think it's their cat that is trying to talk to them. I can't keep them quiet. They just invade the space. Even if I kick them out of the kitchen and shut the door, then we get the cat scratching at the door instead. So they're still trying to invade the space. I've just come in here at the moment to do this recording, and Archie Dog's followed me. He's like a little stalker. I walk from one room to the other. He can't help himself, but he's like, I want to be with you wherever you are. Let me know. Do you have pets that just stalk you around the house? I'd love to know. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you like these What's for Tea videos. I love doing them. They are good fun. And I will see you next time.